My name is Toral Desai, and I'm the head athletic trainer and physical therapist for the Santa Cruz Warriors, and I'm in my third season. From anything player health related, so everything from the beginning of the season with physicals to in-game, in-practice injuries and evaluating them and getting them back to full on the court, and all the in-between, so rehab, preventative rehab, all of that kind of stuff to keep them on the court. So I took a sports medicine class in high school, decided that I really liked it. So our head athletic trainer at the time was the one teaching the course. She really took me under her wing, so everything from being on the sidelines of a high school football game to learning how to tape. But she was so kind. All the athletes just adored her and respected her. And so I was like, that's something that I could do, you know? So having somebody like that and know that that was a possibility was definitely like a way to open doors for me. Growing up, I'm a first generation, so in India, they didn't have anything like that. So my parents really didn't know what that was. I really didn't have too many people doing the same thing. So I went to University of the Pacific, and they had what's called a sports science major. And that's when I kind of was able to dive deeper into what it was. So I went back to school, got my athletic training degree. I worked at UCLA for several years, and then from there decided I wanted to move back to the Bay. I saw a job opening for Santa Cruz and took my chances, and I'm here now. I've always loved basketball, so I knew eventually I wanted to get into basketball. We just didn't see a lot of women in it, and that's throughout, like NFL, NBA, MLB. We didn't see a lot of that, so it seemed like maybe gonna happen, but don't count on it. But then for it to happen with the home team, like just being born and raised in the Bay Area, just having the opportunity to work for a team that I'd been watching my whole life was something I never thought I'd get to, but being here has just been incredible. And then my first year getting a ring with them, like that was something I would have never imagined. So our grandfather actually owned the only sports store in the state back when they lived. So they grew up super poor, and so they lived above the store. And so everybody's like, your grandfather would be so proud of you because they were huge sports fanatics, but that just wasn't like a career choice, So to go from that, and then my dad, he's super proud. He's been watching basketball with me since I was like 8 and introduced to the Warriors. So from like the Chris Mullin, Tim Hardaway days to now, so he's like, this is pretty neat. Kind of the coolest experience was I frequent India a lot, and so after we won, that summer I went to India, and I didn't realize they'd actually put an article out there for me. It's called the Gujarati Times, so there was like a picture of me like hugging the trophy. I think my dad probably had something to do with it. So people kind of like recognizing me a little bit, and the Indian community, especially where we're from, is like so tight that they were like, oh, like you got to speak to our school and you got to speak, so that was like one of the coolest things that happened. I mean, so many people have asked me to like write a book or a blog or something, because they're like, you don't see a lot of Indian women, so not having people who look like you and wanting to hear about my journey, or approached a ton in Santa Cruz by people like, you really like inspired my daughters, and I had no idea, and so I think it's been incredible because I kind of get to be the person that I was looking for when I was a kid, and so really just trying to lean into that. I've spoken to kids in India, I've spoken to kids here, and I want to try to do that as much as I can to help, in whichever way is possible.